Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation, live from the Studio Bizzle. He is Jerem Jordan. I am Spencer Linton. It is time now for my one-on-one BYU Sports Nation all-access interview with BYU defensive lineman Tyler Batty. Here's that conversation. Tyler, what is the appropriate way to flush away the frustrations of a loss and be able to mentally move on to the next week?
Practice. Go to work.
And what?
Yes, sir.
And what does that practice involve? Is it extra spirited? Is there an edge because of what happened last weekend? How does that work?
Oh, definitely. I think everyone after a loss comes in a little bit more feisty. Everyone's a little bit more on edge, a little bit, just more energetic, and yeah.
In a weird way, can a loss like BYU suffered against Boise State be a good thing to recalibrate and refocus?
Oh, totally. I think for any team, a loss, a close game can definitely be a catalyst to just sharpen things up, tighten things up.
So what does BYU need to do? Let's focus on the defense specifically to tighten things up and get back to where you want to be.
Man, it really just comes down to, assignment sound football, just making sure that everyone's doing their 111th, they're in the right place when they need to be there. I think that's the biggest thing for us going into this week against Baylor, to really just clean up and make sure that we're sound on.
We hear so much about doing your 111th, and I understand the concept of it. I might not understand the specific percentages when it comes to the math, but I understand the idea. Who started that within the BYU locker room, doing your 111th?
Are you saying who start talking about it, or who really put forth the effort to do 111th?
Yeah, no, who presented that idea initially? Because we keep hearing about it.
I think it came down, through the coaches. Definitely, they're always harping on that for sure. It's just, hey, just do your job. I mean, it's a team sport. Everybody does their job. It's a job well done. We get a win. That's how it works.
You already talked about Baylor and the challenge that they're going to present, knowing that you need to be better to go on the road into Waco, Texas. What do you know about the Bears' offense and what you're going to try and do defensively at this point?
Again, we'll see, especially with our prior, OC and offensive line coach down there. So as for what we're gonna get, I think that's definitely up in the air. I think they may try to switch things up, but it really just comes down to what we're just talking about. Just everyone doing their job. As long as everyone's giving 100% effort and getting things done, it doesn't really matter what we can do or what we do. As long as everyone's doing their job, we'll get things taken care of.
How much does the fact that Jeff Grimes, the former offensive coordinator at BYU, is now at Baylor, along with former offensive line coach Eric Mateos, factor into how you mentally prepare for this game?
It definitely does. I mean, knowing them, knowing their coaching style, they're both, great coaches. We expect, their offensive line and their offense to be well coached and well coordinated. And so it's something that you definitely, I would say, is a little bit of an advantage, because we do know, that it's, we can't be slacking. We gotta be on top of things.
Tyler Batty, BYU defensive lineman, is with us on BYU Sports Nation. The 19th-ranked Cougars are headed to Waco, Texas for a showdown with a 5-1 Baylor team on Saturday. What type of atmosphere do you anticipate? Homecoming game at Baylor, but BYU always has fans show out, especially in a state like Texas. What do you anticipate when you get to Waco, Texas?
Lively. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of energy. Yeah, we're set for some fun.
I talked to you before the Utah State game, and you said, what opposing fans don't realize with me is that the louder they get, the more obnoxious they are, the more they're yelling at me, the better I play. So is it safe to say that you're hoping that Waco and Baylor fans are in your ear all game?
Hey, I wouldn't mind it. It's definitely it's energy, man. We feed off energy, so it's just fun. It's just fun.
BYU is the 19th ranked team in the country. I mentioned that a few times. What does a top 20 ranking, even after a loss, mean to you and the team at this point?
I think for a lot of us, our ranking's great, but we have our own goals, to accomplish. And when it comes down to it, we're here to win games, right? And a ranking is just a byproduct of winning games. And so that's definitely where our priority is not necessarily so much focused on the ranking, but actual winning itself.
All right, a couple of quick hitters to finish up, Tyler. The first thing is, what's the key to getting more pressure on the quarterback, specifically at Baylor?
Yeah, that's a tough one. We just, the D-line especially, we just need to pick things up a notch and just get after it with everything we have, really, really, really put some pressure that starts up front with us. And as long as we can, get going and get after it, I think we'll be in the backfield plenty.
Okay, and we'll finish with this. I know you're a car guy. You're an Audi guy. You and I share that in common. Maybe it's as simple as just tuning up the engine to get off the line a little bit faster, yeah? Should we give you some karma to do that? Is that fair?
Hey, I take that all day. Yes, sir. I think that's exactly what it needs. A little bit more fuel, a little bit more air, a little bit more spark, much bigger boom. That's what we need.
Let's go, yes, man. Okay, the karma is headed your way, Tyler. We appreciate the time, my friend, and best of luck when you take on Baylor and Waco.
Thanks, Spencer.